Welcome back to Life in All Directions, the podcast where we keep it real about life, growth, and many paths we take along the way. I'm your host, Dante Streets, and today we got a real special guest. I'm real excited to have my man here today. We've been talking about getting together for a while here. I'm really excited. Look, this guy is a football coach. He's an entrepreneur. He's a father. Most importantly, he is a man that has taken different directions in life and has moved towards the path of success. And ladies and gentlemen, Laron Hill. Also, you may know him as Coach Hill or just Hill. But Hill, what's going on, my man? Thanks for being here today.
Man, thanks for the intro, man. I love it, man. One thing you forgot, man, I'm a man of God too, man. Always, I appreciate it, man.
Always going to put God first, for sure. Well, what's been going on, man?
Same old, the grind. You know how it is. It's football season right now, so work and a million hours, for football, and that's the main focus right now. Um, that prompts pretty much almost everything at the moment. So we just week 3 right now. Man,
Yeah. Well, definitely, man. I want to thank you for being here. And I'm truly appreciative of your time. And, we spent time together on the field, off the field.
yes.
And this is definitely a different platform that we get to kind of uh, see new ventures of life, But let's talk a little football. Like, how is the guys looking this year? How's it?
We're getting better. Every week we're getting better. We got a lot of sophomores and juniors that's in like big, key, prominent roles as starters. So it's gonna take a while for they can kind of get used to the varsity speed of the game and things of that nature. But for the most part, uh, we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, so it's I think it's definitely, one of the things I was talking about with one of my boys the other day was just watching college football, right? Is how like you don't see a lot of high scoring like week 1, week 2 sometimes because it takes a little bit longer for the offenses sometimes to get clicking than the defense, right? So you always kind of see, I think you never see the same team that you see in week 1 that you're going to see in week 10, right? It's just night and day from there. But
Well, um, I kind of always felt like I had a good grasp of knowledge of the game, even from Pop Warner days and, high school, things, and, so on. So I always knew one day that I was going to come back and coach because I always felt like when I stopped playing and I'm looking at some of these kids, I'm going to Pop Warner games, I'm like, man, they're not teaching them the right way. You know what I'm saying? I was always been blessed and been taught the football the correct way. And so I just always felt that I want to come back and give back when I'm done, get some time and just really teach kids, the right way of football, and I've been blessed to have Coach F. He's the head coach of Elk Grove high school football, and we was at Burbank together. I actually played for him, and he was able to, give me that opportunity to coach with him. So I'm really grateful for that. And I've just been trying to hold my ear in the bargain.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, shout out to Hef, man. Like he gave me an opportunity, and being able to coach with him, yourself, and Pale, to like the core Burbank folks that really kind of went over. Of course, we got Wade over there. You know what I mean? We got the grandfather himself, Irv. But the mayor. What am I talking about? The grandfather, the mayor, man. How dare I disrespect the mayor like that? But when I first came with you guys, like the beauty of like coaching with y'all was like being able to be a sponge and just learn so much from like what is like a program, right? Like where everything is dialed in, it's detailed, where you're going to be, practice starts at 4, we're on the field, where you're going to be at 4:15, 4:30, and you see a difference, you know what I mean? And I'm sure, Nez, coaching with him will tell you the difference even too, right? Like coaching at different schools where you see it's unorganized and it's a shit show sometimes. And it makes it so hard to go from somewhere like where you coach with Hef to go somewhere else that's like unorganized. And it's like, it's the most frustrating thing in the world because it's just chaos on the field. You know what I mean? And no, please.
Being organized, how health is You know, that's some mad sciences. Like F is just straight, different blocks. It's really a college atmosphere of practice style, moving to different stations and, things of that nature. So, we're 10, 15-minute blocks. It's just on time. Boom, move to the next block, move to the next block. And we're trying to get the most out of those 15 minutes as possible. So like no reps is wasted. Like we cannot have wasted reps. And and that's what we preach. Wasted reps, running full speed, running around. So, and like you said, just being organized. And that makes you be organized because you got to make sure your position group is on point. You got to make sure you have your drills, what you want to do, what your drills that you want to do for what we're trying to do for the week and for the day. So if it's tackling or, receivers, running backs, whatever, you got to make sure you have those drills that correlate what is today's practice plan. Whatever we run and what plays will we run it have to correlate with that. And man, F don't play, man. He'll call you out too. Like, hey man, what
Yeah. No, I've personally been a part of that. So, um, but the biggest difference is that I've had from coaching at different schools, right? Is I mean, exception of Kirk, right? Because Kirk is under that half coaching tree. You know what I mean? Right. So the 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 thing of it is, it's like, I mean, besides Kirk, but when I went to other schools, it's like you get coaches looking at you like, what do you want to do next? What the fuck you mean? What do we want to do next? Like when you like Hef's handing you a practice plan at the beginning of the practice. Hey, it's 4:15. Oh, we're going to team, or it's 5:15. We're team D, 7-on-7. You know where you're at, man, and it's such a comfort feeling from an assistant coach to have that type of organization and to have that detailed and dialed in. But not only that is to have other coaches hold you accountable.
a little bit. It spoils you a little bit.
Well, we know Hef will put us up. You'll be doing a little bit more offense at the end of the night. Then yeah. Um, but I mean, I'm really thankful myself as well for getting the opportunity to learn. I don't just say coach, but to learn from all of the people that I was with. All of you guys at Elk Grove was something I always hold dear to my heart. And I'm always thankful for is because it's not just learning like lessons on the field, but you learn things off the field. I know the first year I coached D line, right? The first year we got to Elk Grove, and we know like how quickly D line coaches can get can get cycled. You know what I mean? So, but the thing with like Pale, when I remember sitting down with Pale, right? Like, him and Hef are both great teachers. And I don't mean just on the field, I mean like in the classroom. Right. And so when Pale, brought me to the side one time and it was like, hey, like you have to look at everything that you're teaching like a lesson, right? You can't just see something on YouTube and then think they're going to get it like that. Like you have to understand like everything from the beginning of stance to footwork, and then you're working on your hips. Then everything just becomes a lesson, you know what I mean, and steps before you even get to like your swim move or rip, right?
Start from bottom up. You got to move from the bottom up.
And that was so vital, and because to learn that, it was like I was able to take that to other schools, and I would see other coaches not work on those simple things, right? And then also look at me funny because I'm taking kids to the fence. And if you've ever coached with Paula, you know what happens at the fence. We're going to work on that stance. You know what I mean? And so when coaches would see that, yeah, when the board drill, the T board, the whole deal, and when other coaches seen that at other schools, it was like, what's he doing against the fence? Like he's wasting those kids' times. The only other two people that got it at another school I was at was people that were also under Hef's umbrella tree, which was Parker and Ness.
Yes. Oh yeah, man. Parker's good dude. Parker's good dude. I believe he's up with that road. No, he's back at Burbank right now.
Went to back to Burbank, yeah. Yeah, he went back to the bank. Let me ask you this. So the values you feel that like, well, actually, let me back it up for a second. So when you first got into coaching, right, what was the difference of trying to be able to transitioning from player to coach, right? Because a player, you take something and then you have your ability to kind of, you know what I mean, do on the field, right? And you're kind of going off your vision and what you see. But now you're trying to teach what you've seen or what you see, and how do you teach that to a player now?
So the transition from a player to a coach, from a good player to a good coach, or from a good player to a bad coach, right? And tying that all together, right, is knowing that the players that you're coaching don't have your ability. A lot of them don't have your ability. So things that you can do naturally when you're playing days, this kid can't go. So a bad coach will, yell and fuss and whatever that a kid that can't do it because you actually can't teach it. And that's going back to what you said about Hassan Ballet and Irvin and dudes by showing me you have to be a teacher. That's the most important thing, you have to teach. So I have to know how I was able to do this. you know, of course, some people have God natural given ability, but can you teach it? Can you break it down and show, oh, he did this, and can you work drills to do those type of things? So I think you just going back to what you said, you have to be a teacher and you have to be a student of the game to know how to break things down and to be able to teach it to your players. And I think that separates from bad coaching to good coaching.
And that makes a lot of sense because you're not going to get, prime athletes at every position at every school you go to, or every, any school, even at the school you stay at. It may not be next year kids that are going to come in to be what you had, and the difference, I think, of like what I seen when I was with Hef, and under Hef's program, is that you have to be able to coach those kids up. That's why you're out here. You have to coach and work with what you got and figure out how to get the best out of them.
The best out of them. You have to make sure whatever they have, you have to pull that out of them. Whatever they're good at, find something that they're good at, and you have to teach that to them.
Was
Was it a lot of A backs that became wide receivers, or was it the other way around? I forget.
A lot of receivers. When I was coaching receivers, a lot of receivers that went to A.
you can catch a toss, but you can't catch a hitch.
But now that I'm coaching back to A-backs and tailbacks, and I can't find a 10. So it just basically just working what you got. But I got a lot of good A-backs right now, a lot of good skill guys right now. We're looking really good.
That's well, skill guys are good, especially in this day and age with, to have, is because, with kids transferring and always looking for the bigger, better deal.
It's hard to get one. I used to be able to think that other schools is really pulling some of these kids and getting the best out of them. But man, for what we have for the last few years, I think we're doing a great job, like turning some of these guys into ball players. And it shows like our kids that go to school that play on the high school football, they stay. They actually go through it. They actually go through the program. They don't give up. It's easier. It's an easier transition, just how we run our program. So when they get to college, is they're not shocked at the 100. They're not shocked at the blocks and the pods and different things when they get to the college program where some of these other players may be not used to it. So
No, and that's good, man. So let me ask you this. So what values, like from football, like do you feel like from the discipline, the teamwork, like the perseverance, like how do you feel like that's carried over into like your personal life?
and football is everything. Football is he's taught me be mature as the man I am today. Without football, man, ain't no telling what the heck. What I learned a lot of core values just for playing football. How to listen, how to take construction criticism, how to hear what people is actually telling me and don't take it personal, no matter how it comes out. And he can be yelling and all this cussing me out, but is it true? I don't all that. cussing shit and fuck. I don't really care about that, but I know what to take and I know what's wrong. So, and I think not taking it personal, knowing that this person is actually spending time and, and having care and love for me to make me better. So, man, without football, man, I don't know, man. That taught me everything, man. It taught me everything.
I've always said that football is the closest game to life, right? And what I mean by that is it is the game, and I've said this before in other episodes, but it is the closest game to life, because what game do you play where you're going to get literally knocked down every single play and you have to make a conscious decision where you're going to get back up? Because there's times, where you've seen players take hits. You might even take a hit yourself back in your day where you're like, God damn, I'm not trying to take too many over those.
You'd be like, woo, you know what I'm saying? Ugh, I don't know if I want to get back up. Or relying on somebody else to do their job for you to succeed. And that falls back into the workplace. Everybody got to do their job in the workplace. So you relying on another person. So yeah, I agree.
Because if your linemen go on strike, boy, it's going to be a long night. Like you ain't gonna be able to play. You know what I mean? The running back or the wide receivers could go on strike, but if the linemen go on strike, you can't.
It's over. That's the core. That's the lineman is say all, do all.
Yeah, shout out to you linemen out there.
Shout out to the line. I know y'all don't get a lot of love, but believe me, people that actually know football and play football, we actually know you guys is the heart beat out to the big one.
So, like, how coaching, like when you're coaching people, like our kids, I should say, like to me, I've always looked at like, I kind of have a saying which is called like the power of the wink. And what I mean by the power of the wink is like, it's like when you look at that kid, you give him that wink of like, I got you, like I believe in you. And I don't think there's anything much more powerful than that, is when you're playing a sport and your coach looks at you and just says, yeah, I believe in you.
Mm-hmm.
You got this.
That's powerful. That's powerful for a young man. I mean, coach varsity. So these dudes is 16, 17, maybe 18 in some cases, but he was a young man. And some of these young men never had another grown man tell them that. Saying, I believe in you, or I trust you, or you can do it. So just from that standpoint alone, it's powerful, that you can change a kid's life just from that. So I like that.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, you've been coaching for how many years now? I mean, it's way over a decade. I mean,
Yeah, I'm over a decade now. Man. Jeez, I guess we had 10 years now at Elk Grove.
Yeah,
I'm about
that's crazy.
17. I'm probably about 17. When I add popcorn, probably about 18, 19. I'm there.
have you seen one of your players in a bar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Tell me that doesn't weird you out at times.
And he opened up to drink. Be like, y'all didn't see me here. Y'all didn't see me here. Y'all didn't see me here. Y'all didn't see me here.
And I'll tell you a funny story. Is so one of the players I had coached at Miraloma with Kirk, right? And I'm at where am I? We're at a spot downtown, right in downtown Sacramento, and I'm standing there. It's a place. What's that place right across from R15? It's like a restaurant, I think, too. No, here you go. Is Iron Horse Tavern, just so we're all correct. So it faces as a poker room, just so everybody's clear, but literally. So we're at Iron Horse, right? And I think I'm there with a date or someone I was seeing at the time, and I hear, hey, and I'm like, why would I turn around to that? Nobody that calls me coach can be in here. You know what I mean? Unless they got a fake ID, right? And the girl I'm with, she's like, he's talking to you. I'm like, ain't nobody in here calling me coach. I was like, talking to me. And so he's like, hey, Coach Street. I'm like, He's talking to me. Uh, and so I turn around and I look, I'm like, you know, it takes a minute, right? When you've coached for a while and you're trying to cycle the what season or what year they are in your head, and you're looking like, how do I know you? Coach Street, it's me, Patrick. I'm like, oh, damn, what's up, man? I'm like, what, bro, what are you doing here? You got like a fake ID or something?
But get out of here, man.
He was like, fake ID? He's like, Coach, I'm 25. I said, oh. I said, oh, man. Coach, can I buy you a shot? You sure the hell can.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Give me two, man. Cause you stressed me out when you was playing.
And it's just, it makes you feel old real quick.
No, it does, man. It does.
Because the varsity level, though, right? Because there's a lot of times, you know, where you're only getting kids sometimes for 1 or 2 years,
Yeah.
and it moves past to the next season, and you kind of forget, you know, like how old they are, right? Like, I mean, you look at the first year of kids, right? When we were there, right? Like the Jake years, right?
Hey, them dudes is 50 now, probably. Man, them dudes are old.
Man,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but it is great to see players though, like especially players that you've coached, and now you get to see them, you know what I mean, on playing on Saturdays, right?
And they still call you coach. So that's the respect. You know, at 25 and 24, and they yelling, Coach Street. So that just lets you know right there how much promise you put into this kid's life to still be able to call you coach. That's
I
respect.
mean, I will tell you, I went to a coaching clinic, right, in Concord with Kirk, one of those Glazer clinics.
Yeah.
And so we went out to we went out to like a bar in Walnut Creek or something like that, right? And our coaches that we had in high school were at that same clinic, right? And so they went out to the bar, and I'm still like, hey, what's up, coach? You know, my coach was Coach Jerry Dunlap, and I'm like, hey, what's up, Coach Dunlap? And he's like, you're a grown man. You don't have to call me coach. You're also a coach.
Still coach. So I'm still coach. Man. It's still coach.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure I hid my beer when I first saw you, but it's that level of respect, and I think that, you know, football coaches have a great opportunity to impact lives in a very big way.
Hey, it can go both ways too, though.
Absolutely.
You know, you can send, you know, some of these other coaches can send a kid the other way just by being a
100%.
you know what I mean, just being a dickhead for no reason. You know,
I've seen that in too.
I see it all the time. Man, I see it all the time. I see it all the time.
I mean, I actually I had coaches like that, you know, like I had some at Napa High when I was there, and I ended up changing schools and going to another school in Oakland, and actually got to have Coach Alonzo Cotter, who's now at Arizona, as their running backs coach, and he was my coach at McClymonds. And you want to talk about a night and day difference of culture, boy. You go from Napa High School to McClymonds in West Oakland. It's, you know, so it's like, imagine going to Oak Ridge and then going to Grant next year, or Sac High.
Hey, you tighten up your boots. You feel me?
It's good.
Tighten up your boots.
Day difference for you.
Tighten up your boots.
So one thing I do like to ask guys that I've coached with, or even just coaches in general, like I've asked my friends that coach, is why do you coach?
It's a good question.
Because you can do anything else with your time, and we know damn well it ain't the money.
Hey.
In the state of Texas or at a private school,
Yeah.
you're doing it for the wrong reason.
The question is probably because I'm competitive. I still have, going back to, like I said, it's addictive. I'm competitive. I still love the game. I still want to see these kids get better. And then once I feel like I could succeed with one kid, and there's always that next kid. Like, hey, coach, you still gonna be here, man? You know, hey, now, you know, I love you. I'm rocking with you. you like, man, I thought I was gonna retire this year. And then it's like boom, and boom, and boom, and boom, and boom. So, it's real addictive. It's real addictive, just putting a positive, not a lot of positive males. There's not a lot of positive black males that's giving back to some of these kids. And, in our culture, in our community, I think it needs to be more of us giving back, and, actually the young man need to see a lot of our faces. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's always above. But I'm gonna tell you this: once it gets to a point where I hate it, say it. But once it gets to a point where I truly, truly, truly hate it, I will really remove myself. Once if I feel like I'm being too negative or I'm not impacting kids' life, I will really remove myself.
Or the point where it feels like work.
You're right. That's another thing. Like you said, we don't do this for money. Yeah. So once it starts to feel like work,
I think that's for me, like my last year coaching, right? At the last high school I was at, like it became extremely stressful. It started becoming like work. And
where at Rosemont?
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like so when I went there, I stepped into playing like the D line role. Nez had to step away, but he was still pretty much doing all the defensive like calls behind the scenes. But still, like having to do like now, I mean, imagine, right? You go from like signing up as the D line coach, and we all know as a position coach, you're like, hey, I'm gonna show up. I want to coach my group, coach my guys up, and make sure I'm a part of the game plan. Now, when you are helping or basically designing the game plan, and we all know like it's a little different, you know what I mean? If you're not on campus or you're not really in the like school district type of deal, when you're working a 9 to 5, it becomes that much more challenging because you're trying to rush, you know what I mean? You're trying to even try to sneak some things in at work. And it just started becoming like work. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I love the kids that we had there, and it was great to be able to kind of coach again with like Nez and Parker. But like, I think that season for me just kind of was like, I'm ready to step away for a while. And it's nice. I mean,
I get it.
I enjoy being home on a Friday night sometimes and just being able to watch highlights, you know what I mean? And still being able to check out guys' film tapes here and there. But it's also, you miss being a part of a program.
So what you trying to say? You ready to come back? Come on.
Man, passion, I'll tell you that. I'll do that.
Come on.
I don't have the I don't.
You said all that to say, hey, I'm ready to come back.
Oh man, I would love to come back, but I like where my career's at and where even with my kid, it's challenging. If he was a little older, I think where I could bring him to the field and not worried about him, like he'll be 3 in January. No, trust me. I mean, it's in the side of a fence, so maybe, but he will run in the middle of like while the play is happening. So like, here's the thing with toddlers, I'll tell you with toddlers, it's been a thing where it's like, I don't agree with people using leashes for their kids, but I understand it.
Hey,
But he takes off, man.
Can't get my kid from behind, man. I got to take angles.
hey, he gonna come through. He gonna jump on the bag, whatever. Somebody gonna stiff arm me, and then he gonna, hey man, you may be developing one of the best running backs to come out. You better bring him out here, let him get ran over a little bit
Soon. I mean, we definitely, do our stuff on the weekends where we're playing with the football and stuff. But I mean, for me, I'll say this though, in regards to that question, like while I coached, you know what I mean, was yes, being competitive. Yes, you want to win and you want to be, but for me, it was, how do I help make better young men in the world? And how do I put them in a position to where that I'm able to kind of give life lessons, but through football, right?
Yes, yes.
It's letting kids know, like, like I'll tell you what, I had to tell a guy the other day that I was working with him, like, and this is, as you know, I worked for a fuel company and I still still do some work for them, and I had a driver that had like a spill, and he was new, and so he was really kind of down on himself and like kind of like unsure, right? And so I kind of just told him, I'm like, look, man, I'm like, look, even Tom Brady throws an interception, right? Still got to get out there and keep throwing. And it's no different than like if you have a quarterback, right? He throws a pick, you got to keep throwing. You know what I mean? Like we're just not going to stop throwing tonight.
Keep throwing, keep shooting the shot, keep shooting.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, and I think that's what I love about football is how to be able to tie that into life. But on the other hand, you've done some different things in life where you have kind of stepped into entrepreneurship here. And so like what sparked something to like bet on yourself here?
Just going back to being competitive. You know what I'm saying? You get boring doing the same thing every day. You know, just had, let's say, like a regular 9 to 5. You know, and I've kind of been an entrepreneur kind of all my life. You know, I always had different things going. You know what I'm saying? You know, I grew up a little different. You know, what I mean, I come from a different place. You know, I grew up in, you know, 90s and that. You know, I'm born in the mid 80s, but grew up in the 90s. You know, the Del Paso Heights. So I grew up different. I've seen a lot of things before my time. You know what I'm saying? So I tried different things. You know, I've always been a stacker. I've been a grinder. I've been an entrepreneur. So they're just going back to that, just kind of just wanting something different every single day, being able to control my own finances. I just somebody say, you know, I'm gonna give you, you know, 60,000 a year or whatever. You know, hey, I want to be able to like control that. I don't want nobody to tell me what they gonna give me. Like, what? I done made this company or whatever so much money. You only gonna give me this? No, 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 no.
Yeah, just so your skill is only worth X a dollar amount. You know what I mean? So where you have more control over that. And so you started building a business. Like I'm sure with any business, it comes with challenges. Like what what do you see challenges in regards to like the businesses that you built? You know what I mean? As far as entrepreneurship goes, because that's definitely not for the weak.
Not at all. So first thing you find out is you find out you work more hours than that your regular 9 to 5. That's for sure. So you think, oh, entrepreneur, you know, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have all this free time. You crazy. You find yourself working from sun up to sundown, especially if you're building your business for the first. A business is not really deemed successful until after 5 years. So you find yourself working a lot. That's for sure.
So like the challenges that you faced, like in being an entrepreneur, so like,
Not fair. Yeah. Basically.
Everything like you may see, right? Like so not having the product coming on time, so you not being able to have
That's just
you know
that's
certain this or that for the business. That's now delays and ripple effects.
that's pretty much is everything you said. Not having a product, you putting out fires. Then if you got employees, you know, things that your employees did that you have to cover for that you know they didn't have to do it, but hey, you know, you have to cover it. You have to maybe pay for something that a customer is trying to scam you out of. You know, it's just a little small things like that. You know, could be challenges. All the licenses and insurance and things you have to make sure you pay. Oh, I done made this amount of money. Okay, yeah, you made that, but your overhead may be X amount of money, whatever it may be. You have to pay everybody first before you can pay yourself. It's been times that I ain't paying myself in a year. You know what I mean? You know, months because I have to make sure the business stays afloat or whatever money I do make, I got to put it back into the business to keep it going. You know, stuff like that. So those are challenges that, you know, you don't really know because when you out there doing other things, you know, you ain't really know, you ain't over there no challenges like that besides, you know.
well, work, you show up, you do your 8 and you go home. And whatever happens after you clock out is no longer your concern. Right. And
You capped off, but you capped off at that whatever.
right, you're 100%. And that's you're capped off for sure. And I think the level of entrepreneurship is when you realize that, like, for one, you're like you said, you're going to work your tail off. Like you're going to be putting more hours in than you may be doing 80 hours in a week, 100, you know what I mean? And the other part is when you have employees, right? I think the biggest challenge with having employees at times is when you're watching somebody that's a part of your dream not working as hard as you or not having the work ethic that you do. And I think what I would tell other entrepreneurs and people that were in entrepreneurship are, especially if you're going to have employees, you can never expect somebody to work as hard as you.
No, no.
It's not their dream.
But here's the thing, too, though.
Our dream.
Here's the thing: building a team. All right. So your team that you want to build, when you're building a business, your team, you want to duplicate yourself. You need to go out. It's hard though. You need to find whatever it is, whatever you need, 5, 6 people that is like you or likewise. Or you hire people to do what you don't know how to do or what you don't want to do. So those are
I think that helps you understand.
that helps it. So a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna hire this person. Oh, I'm gonna hire cousin whoopty whoop, auntie whoopty, uncle whoopty whoop whoop." Nah, no, no. If they're not like-minded like you, it ain't gonna work. So my advice is to always go out and look to hire like you.
Have you had to fire?
Have you had fires?
Hey, that's sometimes it can be fun. And the other part, it can be challenging. It should never be fun firing somebody.
Right, I don't want to do it when you first started off, but sometimes you got to do it though because you just cutting dead weight.
It's no different than like when we've had football players, right, that are on the field where it's like you see them and you're like, I get it, but that kid's a liability. Like he's, the team manager now.
Hey, man, I know you want to play quarterback, but you're 5'5", 185. Think you look better over there on the D
I
line.
mean, that's
that's not in our program. I think we had a quarter. What? That was 5'5".
I don't say it. Yeah, don't say it.
Who was a dude, by the way.
too bad.
I mean, hey, if that kid was 6 foot, man, he was probably picking whatever D1 school he wanted to go to.
Hey, he still turns out great, man. That dude is doing excellent for himself, and he was a baller.
Yeah.
Just gonna say somebody else's name. But no, who you're talking about right here, Carter Harris, that boy was a baller. Yeah, he was a baller.
Yeah. Could you imagine Carter, 6 foot, 200 pounds, doing exactly what he did?
Like you just said, you'd be every major D1 college will be after that boy.
But he was a heck of a quarterback, man.
He was competitive, and that's what set him apart.
Yeah.
You couldn't challenge that. If you challenge him, he'd be like, "What? Oh, okay, watch this."
I was a football player.
So do you think like in regards to like entrepreneurship, the competitiveness of wanting to be successful, you know what I mean, that ties in with football and, like how do you balance all of the different, the different grinds, the different like for everything that you do from whether it's work to being a dad, right? And we haven't even talked about that now as you have a full grown ass man and when you see Ron, like when you see him, like, do you still see like that little kid going to T-ball at times, or you know what I mean? Like when you like through your eyes, like where you just look at him.
See, I do. Like I don't. Man, it went by so fast to me. This 20 years of that boy's life went by so fast. So I know I don't see him sometimes. As a 20-year-old grown man. I do see him sometimes as that. Young little teen, whatever. It just. Now I'm getting used to it though. So now I'm seeing him more as, a tuner. Some things, I'd be like, oh, okay, he was listening. Oh, all right. Okay, he get it. He was listening to me. And that's just how it is sometimes, with your kids. It's especially in today's world. So it's just harder to like sometimes let all the way go because it's like you didn't grow up, like I don't think what I mean, like I grew up rough and tough and he didn't grow up in that type of environment, so sometimes I'd be like, but nah, but man, I'm like, all right, he paying attention, all right, he on it. You know what I mean? Okay, he actually was listening to what I'm saying. So I'll be real proud of that sometimes when he showed me some of those moments that he'd be like, nah, dad, nah, I was listening. I know what's up. So it just takes time.
But it's got to be a great feeling though sometimes too, where like you see like values or what I mean, things that you've instilled into him paying off. You know what I mean, or whether just knowledge of life. You know what I mean, or just when you look at your kid and realize that like yeah, like you're not in anywhere close to the bullshit that I was in, or that I could have been in, and
Near close to that. He's nowhere near close to that. No, nowhere near. He's a good kid. Every kid's not perfect. He does dumbass shit. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, overall, he's a good kid. He's handling his business. He's in school. He's finishing up. He's trying to be a uh, going to be at Sac State for engineering. Oh, I mean, some shit that I ain't down. Some shit out. Engineering? What the hell? So he on the right track, and it's my job to make sure that he stays on the right track. And those are the things sometimes I tell him, like, I'm hard on you. So when you get out here in this world, sometimes this shit is easy. Like, ain't nobody gonna prepare me. Like, ain't nobody gonna say some of the things that I'm gonna tell you harsh or not harsh. So, my job is to make sure this is what you say you want to do. This is your goal. I'm gonna push you to go there. I'm gonna make sure you stay on the right track. If you don't,
well, it's like football too, right? Like we may practice hard to make the games
easy. Come on, man.
easy. That's I think it's awesome, man. I definitely tip my hat to you. I know that when I was first becoming a dad, the biggest thing for me is I was scared to death about becoming a dad, especially being a single dad. And I was like, man, do I even know how to be a dad? But like, I looked around and I was like, man, I'm surrounded by good dads. Like whether it be yourself, Hef, all of our coaches, right, that are in their kids' lives, and to be able to see what they've done of parents, uh, and even my closest friends, me and my brother, and just realize that like you're surrounded by guys that are good dads. You don't really have guys in your life that are like deadbeats that like, yeah, I've never seen my kid. I don't, I couldn't tell you what my kids.
I don't respect them. I don't fuck with nobody. I repeat, I don't fuck with no dude who do not fuck with their kid. Not situational where they're going through court and drama. That if you ain't got none of that stuff going on and you totally don't mess with your kid, I don't respect you. I don't fuck with you. Like I was 19 years old when my son was born. 19.
Yeah, being a young dad, man, I'm sure that had to be scary as hell.
I ain't no shit. I was young and dumb, stupid, you know? So,
Wow, what an episode. Hey, that was part one of a two-part episode with Coach Hill. Join us as we come back. We're going to actually go into trading. Coach Hill's going to teach us a little bit more about the stock market, trading, as we talk a little bit more about entrepreneurship and all the crazy directions that life brings us. And stay tuned. If you like this episode, please, you don't want to miss part two. Looking forward to seeing you there. Yeah, right there. Join us.